Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Missing Maura Murray podcast. I am Tim, being joined here by Lance Reenstierna in the Crawlspace studios in Wormtown. It is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. There has been some breaking news in Maura Murray's case.
It's a really incredible day, isn't it? I mean, I don't even know
take a
where
deep
to
breath.
begin.
Yeah.
You got to take a deep breath. We had started the day off doing one of our creator commentaries, and it was the one that we first covered Brianna Maitland in.
Yeah.
So we were doing some listening and commenting on that, and we received a text message at that time, about 10 minutes into the commentary track, from Maggie Freleng, investigative journalist who has been on numerous episodes and on the disappearance of Maura Murray, the Oxygen Show.
That's right.
Asking what is up with what's going on in North Haverhill.
And we don't know anything else, really, other than what is breaking and what is coming in from our sources.
That was her text came in at about 10:30 in the morning, so the news started to break about an hour or so before then.
Okay. And there is a news press conference scheduled by the New Hampshire Attorney General's office at 3 p.m. Eastern, so just in about 40 minutes from now. We might find out if the disappearance of Maura Murray case has been solved.
Here's what we know.
Okay,
we know that there was a property that was searched in February 9th. Fred Murray had hired a team of cadaver dogs, GPR. They went into this location, presumably the basement, and they GPR'd the basement floor and ran cadaver dogs over it. The cadaver dogs had positive hits. This is a location that's very close to the accident. It's a location that the property was owned previously by people who we've mentioned, but there's never been anything really that tangible to elaborate on without vast speculation. So while we knew about these people, there was really not anything there that we could say about them without any sort of speculation going on.
Right.
Anyway,
but what we know about what's happening right now is that FBI is on the scene, as well as New Hampshire State Police, and the whole crime unit. There was a photo of someone bringing a jackhammer into the property, and so we believe that there was some digging going on, and we have been told that Fred Murray is on the scene, and we know that Julie and Kurt, I believe, are both
both up there.
Either they're on the way or
yep.
Okay.
And we know that the Attorney General's office, the organization that has been notoriously tight-lipped about everything concerning Maura's case, has announced the press conference at 3 p.m., which is very telling. But before that, they had stated that it is in relation to Maura's case, and it also is an ongoing criminal investigation. And that's the statement that really stood out to us, to actually acknowledge that this is an ongoing criminal investigation.
That's right. I think officially we've only ever heard it be discussed or called a mysterious disappearance,
right,
or a suspicious disappearance.
Yep.
So never before did they officially say it was a criminal investigation that we're aware of at the current time.
And they wouldn't.
Well, I don't know. Yeah,
they wouldn't at the current time say that it's a criminal investigation in connection with Maura's case, unless it was something tangible having to do with Maura.
Okay. Now, let's introduce our assistant / intern, Brian. How's it going over there, Brian?
How's it going?
Good. Make sure to direct that mic right into your mouth there.
Is it going better now?
It's a little better, yeah. Pull it up there. Okay, perfect.
And here we go.
And there you go. Okay, so for you, we just met you like a month ago. You've been in here like 5 or 6 times, hanging out with us, hearing about this case. What is today like for you?
Yeah, so I wasn't familiar actually with the Maura Murray case. I was kind of young when it happened, so that makes sense. I wasn't aware of it. Yeah, a little bit younger than you guys. But I wasn't aware of it before, and now since I've been working here, I've obviously gotten involved with it in a couple different ways and done a little bit of my own research on it. And I think it's amazing that it's breaking right now. I mean, what are the odds that the 1 or 2 months that I've been working here, we already have a huge break in the missing Maura case?
Okay, I'm calling Scoops Freleng right now. We're trying to get Maggie Freleng on the line, on the horn, and there's her phone ringing. We'll give out her number later.
Her personal cell phone number.
Just kidding, of course.
Can you give me her number?
Hey, Maggie Freleng. What's going on? It's Tim Pilleri, Lance Reenstierna, and our assistant/intern Brian is here as well. How are you?
I am good. What's going on?
What isn't going on?
Yeah, what is not going on is the question.
Lord, who knows?
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling anxious.
Okay. Optimistic about the press conference at 3 p.m.?
I think so. I think I'm feeling optimistic. I mean, there's a lot of people there, and the fact that Chuck West is not getting back to Art says a lot, because he will get back to him right away.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it could be the service, maybe, if he's over at the scene.
It's true.
But that is interesting. Okay, so you're in contact with Art, who reached out to someone at Chuck at the cold case unit, and he hasn't gotten back. So you've heard no official word on anything, kind of more than that's what's been out there at this point?
Pretty much. Yep, no official word. You know, I got a text from Julie this afternoon saying she was headed that way and would keep me updated. So at this point, I'm imagining we'll know more from the press conference before I hear from the family.
In your experience with, communicating with the Attorney General's office, and when you were shooting the Oxygen show, when, talking to Strelzin and everything, is there any precedent that you see for them having a press conference or summoning the family there or announcing that this is a criminal investigation in association with Maura's case if they didn't have something tangible connected to Maura or her body?
Well, I wouldn't look too far into any of that. We know that, they agreed to search the property with the family. They New Hampshire State Police and the family were in communication after the family did their own GPR searching. And we know that the police agreed to go into the house, which they had claimed they had already searched. So we knew this was going to happen. Julie, I guess, found out yesterday afternoon about it. So she's on her way up or is there now. And I think because there is so much media attention, I mean, WMUR has been there all morning. They've actually been in contact with me as well about it. I think that because of that, they have to make some sort of statement. So I wouldn't really look too much into any of it at this particular.
Come on, Maggie, don't bust our bubble over here.
You guys know I'm always the cynical, pessimistic one.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to not be a little bit, realist about it.
I'll be honest, we're very optimistic over here in the Crawlspace studios about this press conference.
We're approaching with guided optimism.
Yeah.
But in the past, it has been very, very guarded and almost to the point of being pessimistic, where
Definitely.
It's like, really, we're going to do this again? But there are certain factors here that I just can't shake. You just can't, all of us here in this conversation can't shake certain things with it could be something else. It's
why is
specifically pointing to one thing.
Right. Why is the Murray family there? How did they, so they were alerted? I just feel like the police would not have alerted them.
This search was in agreement with the Murrays.
Yeah, but Okay, so they would have done this, you think, no matter what? You think they would have asked the Murray family to go up there no matter?
I don't think they asked them to go up there. I think they said, we're going to be searching tomorrow. I think it seemed quite last minute. Julie seems to have found out yesterday about. I think it was they talked to them about doing this. They all got on board. The Murray said, hey, we have these things. We really want you to search, blah, blah, blah. And we know that New Hampshire State Police I know because I speak with the family, that they agreed to do the search. And I think it was, hey, tomorrow we're going to be doing the search. And so all the Murrays went up there.
Okay, Maggie. Well, we're really going to hold your feet to the fire here, because what about this media advisory released by the New Hampshire Attorney General's office? It talks about the Maura Murray case, gives background on the entire mystery and the entire disappearance, and then says there's going to be a press conference at 3 p.m.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's giving me hope, is that the AG is involved. I don't know why the AG would be there or putting something out if there wasn't, if it wasn't significant. So
Yeah, and it says it says the state police, in cooperation with the current homeowners, the New Hampshire State Police and the FBI conducted a further inspection of the home on April 3rd, 2019. And then so they said that, and then they talk about a press conference at 3 p.m., which is a mere 30 minutes from now, Maggie.
I know. I'm very
What are you doing
very
right
anxious.
now?
Well, I was at work, and my day has pretty much been thwarted, so I might we'll see what happens at 3.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you see any other scenario that could possibly come out of this aside from we found something in connection with Maura Murray? Direct connection.
Do I see any other outcome?
Yeah, I guess my question is, what else could they possibly be pulling together that's so important that it would need a press conference?
That I don't know. That I do not know.
Right, because you're in the media, so there's got to be some precedent for assembling members of the media, journalists, and you're not going to assemble them, I imagine, just for like, hey, we did this thing, because I know there's been some rumors about the AG's office and the state police are under a lot of pressure because of the media and everything.
Well, and that's what I think the press conference could be. I think it could be like, a lot of this stuff is put out there that we're not doing anything, but, as you can see, we're actively searching. Like, it could all just be a stunt for them to, finally say, like, we are actively doing things. Look at us. We're here with crime scene and FBI.
But how is that any different? I mean, that is such a deviation from how they've played it in the past.
Right, but they're under a lot of scrutiny right now.
The one thing I will say, hey Maggie, it's
Brian's got to add something to add here.
Hello?
Yeah, so actually in kind of siding with you a little bit here, the one thing I will say is, and it might just be semantics, but we keep calling it a press conference.
Yeah, you're out of here if you're siding with Maggie, by the way.
In the AG, in the note, it calls it a briefing, and exactly what they say is, we will provide an update regarding today's search. So, I mean, obviously, it could just be an update on the search. I guess it's either
get out of here.
It's one way or the other, but I think
get out.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, everybody's out.
I think this is like a. I think this is a look, the family wanted us to do this. We're all working together. We're still actively working on this case. We didn't find anything today, but we're still gonna keep looking.
Maggie.
We shall see.
We're going to be so disappointed.
I hope I'm wrong, guys. I really, really hope I'm wrong.
I've gotten my hopes up at this point, big time. I think a lot of people out there have, too. I just wonder how many more times are we going to, is the boy who cried wolf going to appear? You know what I mean? If this isn't it. It just feels like it could be it. I don't know.
I know, guys. And I feel like every few months we're sitting here like, this could be it, this could be it. And then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, and we will check back in with you at 3 or right after 3.
That sounds good to me, guys. I am going to be holding my breath until then.
Yes, definitely. Okay.
Well, that's not healthy.
Yeah. Make sure to breathe deep.
Yeah, just
do some yoga. Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Do you want to call Chloe now? Okay, let's just cold call her. We're just going to cold call everybody in our phones.
Old girlfriends.
Start at the A on the contact list.
Hello.
Chloe Canter joining us via the Verizon wireless hotline. What's up, Chloe? How are you?
I am great today. How are you?
We're doing well. We're very optimistic here in the Crawlspace studios, despite the wet blanket. Maggie Freleng.
Seriously.
We just spoke with
Maggie Buzzkill Freleng.
What did she say?
No, just kidding.
Jeez.
She's holding her breath. She's not getting her
very
hopes up.
guarded. Very guarded.
Yeah. Cautiously optimistic, which I think I guess I would have said we were until we talked to her. And now it's hard to say that I'm cautiously optimistic.
And then Brian suddenly comes out of the blue and's like, I'm going to side with Maggie.
So what do you think, Chloe?
I'm trying not to get too excited, or excited, or a better word would be hopeful, just because everything so far obviously hasn't panned out, but all of the updates that I've been hearing, a press conference at 3. When's the last time there's been a press conference?
Whoa, Chloe, wait a sec.
It's a briefing.
Brian can correct you on this. It's a briefing.
Oh, what's the difference?
Well, him and Maggie seem to know.
When's the last time they had a briefing, though?
My question exactly.
Yeah, that's a great question.
And I just saw on Twitter a reporter spoke to Julie Murray recently, within the last hour, who said that her family was summoned to come up to New Hampshire to discuss this matter.
Okay, summoned. Okay, that gives a bit of a different perspective on what we heard earlier. Or what we believed was the truth from Maggie, which was, they would have just called them up there regardless.
They're not calling them up there to be like,
I
hey,
agree with
we
you,
didn't find
Lance.
anything.
I agree. And Brian, why are you still here? Get out of here.
No, the question is did the police say come up here, or did the dad say, oh, there's a search going on?
Julie Murray seems to say summoned.
Julie
been summoned.
told a journalist that the family was summoned up to New Hampshire.
By the police, then there's
To
your answer.
speak with New Hampshire authorities.
Yeah.
To speak with New Hampshire authorities. They have Murray family DNA. They could have done a less invasive search months ago. I mean, we know that they were working on it for weeks, or at least they had checked in on it a couple times.
They summoned them up there so they can deliver the news in person, and then they can have their briefing with the family there in the background.
So you think this is it, Lance?
I think this is it.
I agree. I have to agree.
Oh, man.
Shit.
Just shit.
I think this is
my
it, too.
stomach hurts.
Okay,
I changed
okay.
my mind.
All right, you're in. Stay here.
Yeah.
Get back in
What
there.
did you just say, Chloe?
I said when I hear you guys say, "Oh, I think this is it," like my stomach hurts. Like I'm feeling like a physical reaction from this. I'm so hopeful that we'll finally get answers, and I just there lacks a precedent for this. The briefing, the family being summoned up. It seems like something different's happening, and I just can't wait to find out what it is.
You know what? Maggie Freleng's fired. we only want the optimistic Chloe Canter at this point.
Her name is now Chloe Canter.
I see what you did there.
Ignore the can't.
Exactly. We're going to drop the T. Chloe
Oh,
can.
boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
seeing the picture of the authority holding the jackhammer, I mean, we know something big's going on. And like I don't know how much can be confirmed in one day, but I've seen on Twitter that there's been a presence throughout the month, even back in back in January, not January, back in late February.
Right,
even.
right. That's what I was getting at. Yeah, that I think maybe perhaps they tested whatever earlier, and then now they're going back to dig and complete their dig there. But we don't know any more than you guys do. You know, a lot of information's coming in through our various sources at this point, Chloe included. So thanks, Chloe. What are you doing right now? What are you going to do at 3:00?
3:00. I'll be tuning into the conference.
All right, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Wow. We'll check back in with you then.
Oh, you know you'll be hearing from me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chloe.
Chloe Canter.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
Wow. All right, guys. Any last words here before we press pause for a bit and listen to this press conference briefing?
No. Let's get to it. I'm with Chloe on this. Like, my stomach is in a perpetual knot.
It's hard to keep a straight thought.
It is hard to keep a straight thought.
Could you imagine though if they just say we didn't find anything? What if they came out and said we just did the search and we didn't find anything?
Thank you for bringing it up. Get out. Just kidding. No, I mean that is an actual possibility, and I think they would be very disappointing. I can't see it. But you know what? I will really try to be happy if that is the case, because at least that this is crossed off. if this isn't Maura.
We know that they have done other searches and they have looked at other pieces of evidence, and they have never revealed anything when there has been nothing. This is so far opposite of not revealing something. There has to be something.
All right, thanks. More in a bit. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are on the air right now with breaking news. The New Hampshire Attorney General's office releasing new information right now. We are awaiting a press conference on the ongoing search, the 15-year-long search for Maura Murray.
Let's go right now to Jeffrey Stelzen, Associate Attorney General. A news conference underway live right now. Let's listen in.
Jeff Stelzen. I work at the Attorney General's office. I'm an Associate Attorney General there. With me today is Colonel Christopher J. Wagner, Director of New Hampshire State Police, and Supervisory Special Agent Phil Cristiano from the FBI. Today, a team of investigators from the New Hampshire State Police and the FBI searched a home in Woodsville, New Hampshire. They were looking for evidence connected to the missing persons case of Maura Murray. I can tell you that no evidence was found in connection with that case. I'll explain to you why we searched that home and what brought us there. So, in February of 2004, Maura Murray went missing. She was reportedly last seen at about 7:30 p.m. After a single car accident on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. She has not been seen or heard from since then. Over the when missing, there is done in that area and the surrounding area by a variety of different means. And a home was actually searched in that area, the home that was searched today, right around the time after Maura went missing. That home was searched on the outside. Dogs went by there, searchers went by there, and found absolutely nothing connected with Maura's case.
They went up there.
Over the last several months, that home has become the target of increased speculation by a variety of private citizens. Some private citizens stated that they believed that there was a body, in fact, in that home, in the basement. And really that theory was based on a variety of different pieces of evidence, including a search that was done by a couple of dogs that belonged to private citizens, and a search that was done with something called ground penetrating radar. The Attorney General's office and the state police reviewed the video from those dog searches as well as the results from the ground penetrating radar. And based on that review, we determined that there was no credible evidence that there was any evidence connected to this case in that home, and certainly no evidence of human remains. And there was certainly no probable cause to do any search in that home. Despite that, we did contact the homeowners, and they graciously allowed us, gave us consent to search that home. So in March, state police and the FBI returned to that home, did a further survey of the basement of that home, and then today, a team of FBI agents and state police detectives went into the home and actually searched that basement. And they did that by actually cutting and removing the concrete in the area where the ground penetrating radar had detected a disturbance. And I want to be clear, what the ground penetrating radar had found was not an object or any particular piece of evidence. It had simply detected an area of disturbed ground. And so what happened today is that a team of over a dozen agents and detectives went into that basement, they cut that area, removed the concrete, and then searched several feet down and covered the entire area and beyond where that disturbed ground had been. And they located absolutely nothing other than a small piece of what looks to be potentially pottery, or maybe a piece of old piping. And that's all that they found. So I want to be clear, we certainly did not believe that there was any credible evidence in this case that led us to believe there was evidence connected to Ms. Murray's disappearance. But the state police and the FBI in our office did go down and conduct that search today.
Wow. This is exactly
we continue
what Maggie said.
To work a great deal on this case cooperatively between the Attorney General's office, the state police, and the FBI and other
This is to make
We also want to extend our appreciation to the family that lives in that home. They were gracious enough to allow us and the FBI and the state police in there and conduct that search.
Oh my God, this is sickening.
And the last thing I want to say before I take questions is that this has obviously been difficult on the Murray family, their friends and family. It's also been difficult on the residents that live in that area. Many of these people have asked that their privacy be respected. Sometimes people come onto their property and just search around, and they simply asked us to pass on that they would appreciate their privacy being respected.
How about the fucking
At
news
this point, we'll
doesn't
take any questions that you have.
broadcast the address?
You're saying conclusively Maura is not in that house.
Based on our search, we do not believe that to be the case, that there's any evidence connected to her disappearance in that home. What's going to happen is what's been happening, which is our office and the state police and our other law enforcement partners are continuing to follow up on leads that are generated from the public and other sources, as well as just simply additional investigatory measures that we generate on our own. And that has been continuing and will continue.
So is there a belief or a conclusion if Maura was the victim of foul play?
Well, this has been a criminal investigation from the start. We simply don't know what happened, but we're keeping our options open, and that's why law enforcement is involved.
It's been a criminal investigation from the start.
This was done for investigatory reasons or for the benefit of the family to satisfy some unanswered questions from them?
It was really done just simply to cross something off the list. I can tell you that, based on our review, and we try to be as methodical as possible, which is why it took some time and why we went through various steps, which included search, state police human remain dogs going in, a review of the ground penetrating radar results. There certainly wasn't probable cause or really any credible information that led us to believe there's anything there. But despite that, we went the additional steps and did that search today. So we're confident there's nothing there at this point.
Jeff, what is the message to the Murray family?
The message is the same, which is that everybody involved remains committed to following every lead that's out there to try to get answers to what happened to Maura.
What do you want to say to the public in terms of, if they know anything or if they've seen anything suspicious?
Yeah, no, we've asked the public all along for their assistance. We've heard from members of the public. This case has generated a tremendous amount of interest and activity. Some of it you would call maybe wild speculation, but regardless, the state police and our law enforcement partners have continued to follow up on every single lead in this case and will continue to do so. And we encourage people, to contact us with information. Sometimes people think, well, maybe the police already know that. We encourage people, they can contact us, they can go through the cold case website and provide information if they choose to do so that way.
Jeff, this is the second time that location was searched, and was this search you did today, was that based on the results of the ground penetrating radar or something else?
It was based on the many allegations that were made that somehow that there might be evidence in this house. If you looked at the ground penetrating radar, you would not conclude that there was anything of evidentiary value there, or from the prior dog searches, or from the FBI searches. The state police searches. But regardless, we did go in and excavate that area with the ground penetrating radar detected disturbed ground. And that's not uncommon where you might dig a foundation in a home, and that's an older home.
You said that police used dogs after she had disappeared outside the home.
Right.
Did you guys ever enter the home after she passed away?
No.
And why is that?
Because there was no basis to do so, and we would have needed probable cause to conduct a search of that home at that time.
So the first time that was searched with dogs would have been, last November?
Right when the private citizens went through. That's correct.
When you did your preliminary search before today, did you bring in dogs as well? Or?
Yeah, that was searched in February by a team of 2 state police human remains dogs, and there were no detections at that point.
2004?
This year.
February this year.
February of this year, yep. The state police dogs.
I think you said February.
Nothing.
That was inside?
Yes.
I'm confused. Soon after her disappearance, there was an outside?
There was. Yep, there were multiple searches in that area outside.
I have a question. Do you have any suspects or any other leads that you can follow up on?
We don't name suspects in our case.
No, I know, but do you have anything else that you can look into as far as hot leads or anything like that after this is not heard?
Well, as I said earlier, there's a lot of information we do continue to follow up on. Some of that's generated from leads from the public. Some of it's just simply generated internally, whether it's re-reviewing information, looking at different forensic work, or simply deciding to go back and review other information. And that's been a constant process in this case.
So it's an ongoing cold case?
It is. In some cases, there are periods of dormancy and then periods of activity. This case has been very active over the last year or so.
So where is the last, you hear a lot of information over the years, so where's the last indication of where Maura Murray was, whether it's a dog scent or an actual sighting?
Well, it's the sighting at the accident scene. That's the last credible sighting at the accident scene.
Did the dogs
That's about 7:30 p.m.